Hello, this is Riley Porter with Seattle Sumo. You are listening to a commentary track for the 1964 Natsu Basho. That is the May contest. And this track is for Day 15, Senshu Daku, the final day of the tournament. As usual, to sync up the audio commentary with the video coverage, I will count backwards from 3, 3, 2, 1. As I hit the N in 1, you will click play on the video coverage. I will do the same, and we will be in sync for the day's action. So without any further ado, I will start the countdown and get us going. 3, 2, 1. Futabayama, Taiho, Chianofuji, Grand Sumo Archive Basho. Okay, we're coming into the final day of the Natsu tournament, the Natsu Basho. First, we'll have an address by the Dijicho, or the chairman of the Sumo Association, the senior elder. As you can see there in the middle by the microphone, it's Tokitsukaze Oyakata, the former Futabayama. You can see the intro clips for every single archive tournament. Legendary Dikishi in his own time. Two of his top students are with him on the stage. There in the middle left is Kitabayama, in the middle right, Yutakayama. But currently, directly to his sides are Tochinoumi on the right and Taiho on the left. And they will be fighting in the last matchup today, being that they are the two top-ranked Dikishi, the two Yokozuna participating at this stage. Kashiwado unfortunately have to pull out after 10 straight wins. And we're opening things up here with some Jonokuchi action. This is the lowest division, and here on the left is a young man going by the Shikona of Takamiyama. His real name, of course, is Jesse Kualua. He's from Maui, Hawaii. So, by extension, the United States of America. He's an American-born Dikishi. Of course, he's just won both matches in the playoff for this division. That makes him a divisional champion. So, that's the first real tournament completed by Takamiyama. Of course, Takamiyama, that's a prestigious Shikona from his stable. He fights for the Takasago stable. Takamiyama, that was Sekiwake back in the early 1900s. He won the very first official top division championship. Well, now we move on to our first bout in the top division. On the left, it's Uiteyama. On the right, it's Wakahaguro. Wakahaguro is on 7-7. Hits and then shifts to the left does Wakahaguro. Moving back in, he finishes things Oshidashi. So, relatively simply done. And that brings Wakahaguro to his 8th win. That's Kachikoshi. So, he saved himself in the end, did the former Ozeki. Just about managed to bear a minimum winning score, so he won't move that far up the Banzuke next time, but his career lives that much longer. Now, another Juryo guest, it's Udagawa from the Miyagino stable. He's up against Kitano Kuni, who is a Shinyumaku, new to the division. He's on 7-7. Good charge from Kitano Kuni. He's double inside, a big lift, Tsuridashi, lift-out victory for Kitano Kuni. And that is Kachikoshi on his top division debut. Excuse me. Well, good for Kitano Kuni. Now it's Fusanishiki. He's already got his Makekoshi, just barely. He's up against Wakachichibu, who has been in great form this Basho. Their head-to-head is 8-4 in Fusanishiki's favor. And it's even. Coming in on the inside right is both Dikishi. Wakachichibu is locking up to the on the left there. Now he's got the outside left. Well, Wakachichibu is the more the belt fighter. Fusanishiki is a pusher by trade, so this should work very well in Wakachichibu's favor. Fusanishiki, he's got that outside left. Not too much going on the inside right. Wakachichibu working patiently, leaning on him. He's really where he wants to be. So he's just waiting for the right opportunity to really drop the hips and bust in. A grip change from Wakachichibu, who moves to his inside left, outside right. Fusanishiki follows, so now they're both on that grip. Wakachichibu breaks Fusanishiki's outside, moves in, and with that stomach underneath the belt line, he makes quick work of Fusanishiki, and that is 10 wins, double digit for Wakachichibu. Oh, done very well for himself, this Basho. He is really on this time. Oh, not too shabby. He should definitely move up the Banzuke a little ways. Maybe even into the Joijin, the top clutch of Maegashira. We'll see. Meanwhile, here is Deiwanishiki, this division's oldest Thikishi. He's already got his Makekoshi, but his opponent will be dropping down to the second division in the next tournament, Wakano Kuni. Wakano Kuni comes in with some shoving at the chest, and Deiwanishiki a little limp today. Didn't really have too much in the way of resistance, just kind of stood and received the charge. That's the 9th loss for Deiwanishiki, the 5th victory for Wakano Kuni. So he gets to cap off this Makunochi campaign with a win at least, but he will be demoted, certainly, back to Juryo in the next tournament. Here's a look at the front row. Looks like a packed house. There's the former Asashio. There, that Shinpan, that ringside judge. The gentleman next to him is changing out his camera, his lens. All right, here's Kai Noyama, 7-7. He could go either way to finish this tournament. He's had 2 head-to-heads with opponent Kotozakura. They've each won once. Kotozakura receives the charge, gets to some slapping and parrying away, but Kai Noyama lets Kotozakura work up that weight onto his upper body and then pulls away, letting Kotozakura fall forward and pick up a 10th loss. Meanwhile, Kai Noyama gets his 8th win. That's Kachikoshi for this Thikishi. Not a huge score, so he shouldn't move up more than 1 or 2 spots on the Banzuke, but should be pleased with himself nonetheless. Here's Tsune Nishiki. He's already got his losing score. So does opponent Fuji Nishiki. It's a 5-1 head-to-head in Fuji Nishiki's favor. He'll want to come out pushing. Tsune Nishiki will want to close the distance or else get away from the front. Interestingly, Tsune Nishiki is the one that comes out pushing 2 hands out. Little Moro Tezuki to start things. And whipping around, both Thikishi are toppling out of the ring, but it looks like Tsune Nishiki, who really initiated the attack, was the one that came out on top. So, good for him, going head-on in a bout that I would have expected he might not, given the difference between him and his opponent. But that's a 7th win for Tsune Nishiki, a very minimal losing score, so he shouldn't be moved down too far. Definitely is safe with his top division status. Fuji Nishiki will move down the Banzuke, but he also will not be demoted. So these two will be back. Next Basho in the top division. Here's Kitano Fuji. He's done very well for himself. Already has 9 wins. His opponent, Tamanoshima, is on 7-7. They've had 2 meetings. Both have gone the way of Kitano Fuji. Hard charge from Kitano Fuji, but some Tsuparis return from Tamanoshima. Kitano Fuji moves his way into the inside left. That's his preferred grip. Tamanoshima, well, he's also got the inside left. Nothing on the outside. He wrenches his back, really arcs and lifts, and finishes Kitano Fuji. That was quite the come-from-behind victory from Tamanoshima. It really looked like, especially the Tachiai, the initial charge, he was not on top of things, so that was an excellent recovery, very strong back, good core from Tamanoshima, and he finally makes some headway in his rivalry with the other rising star Kitano Fuji. That's his first win against that Thikishi in 3 attempts. These are both very promising up-and-comers. Tamanoshima is actually a couple years younger than Kitano Fuji. Both in the early 20s, Kitano Fuji 22, Tamanoshima 20. Here's Kane no Hana up against Toyokuni. Kane no Hana has a chance for Kachikoshi today, unlike Toyokuni. So he comes out hard, it's a little Tsupari, closes the distance, goes chest to chest with Toyokuni, drops his hips in, and finishes things Yorikiri. So that was Kane no Hana all the way. He picks up his 8th win in Kachikoshi. Did well to close the distance as quickly as possible. Toyokuni is a pusher thruster, so he would have preferred to keep Kane no Hana from getting such close contact, but so it goes. Kane no Hana, that's Kachikoshi. And now his head-to-head against Toyokuni is 7-4, following the conclusion of this match. Here's Sawa Hikari. He's on 7-7. If he gets Kachikoshi here, he should be in line for a special prize, being that he's beaten Tochi no Umi in this tournament. He's up against Tochi Oyama, Tochi no Umi's stablemate. Sawa Hikari steps to the left, slaps down, sending Tochi Oyama past him. Tochi Oyama manages to recover, but Sawa Hikari follows up well, finishes things off. and gets that Kachikoshi, that 8th win. Sawa Hikari, the bane of Kasugano's stable this tournament, home to Tochi Nomi, Tochi Oyama, all the Tochis, you can imagine. So good for Sawa Hikari. This is his career highest rank, and he just about managed to come out ahead. Now here is Wakatenryu. He's already got Makekoshi, so does his opponent, Aono Sato. It's a 2-0 head-to-head in Aono Sato's favor. Good charge from Wakatenryu, gets around to the side. Now he's behind Aono Sato and finishes him Okuridashi, rear push out. Aono Sato a little slow off the mark. Definitely outpaced in this match, so it's a 7-8 minimum Makekoshi for Wakatenryu, still a losing score. Not as bad as Aono Sato, who with 10 losses will be dropping down a little ways into the lower Maegashira. Of course, both should be safe in their top division status at this point, so we'll see them again in the top division next Basho. Having reached the halfway mark of the action, now we have the new set of Shinpan coming in. I believe that is the former Shio Noumi taking his seat there. Here's Miyagino Oyakata, the former Yoshibayama. He's got a few students up here in the Sekitori ranks, in the salaried ranks. He was Yokozuna back in his time, won a championship. One of the mainstays of the 1950s of the post-war sumo world. Here's Tsurugamine up against Hagoroyama. These two have had quite a history. It's been 34 matchups, and they are even in head-to-head. It's 17-17. Which one of these two will get the edge? Tsurugamine tries to work his way inside, but doesn't work. Hagoroyama's got him on the edge and finishes him Yorikiri. Well, good Dayashi, good consistent forward movement from Hagoroyama. He takes the lead in his head-to-head with Tsurugamine. Now it's been 35 meetings, and 18 have gone the way of Hagoroyama. Well, good for him. He gets 7-8, Tsurugamine 6-9. Both will be moving down a little lower on the Maegashira. Probably a comparable ranking considering their relative position this time out. Here's Kiyokuni, 7-7. He has a chance for Kachikoshi. He's up against Wakanami, who already has double digits, but it is 2-0 head-to-head in Kiyokuni's favor. Kiyokuni, some thrusting to start things off with, but he gets a little carried away. Once it seems Wakanami is about to be pushed out with one more, Wakanami darts to the side. Kiyokuni goes stumbling forward, and that's all she wrote. Wakanami picks up an 11th win. A pretty spectacular performance, all things considered. This Basho marks 1 year since entering the top division, and Wakanami has certainly made himself a mainstay in that time. Kiyokuni, unfortunately, has to settle for 7-8, so he will not be moving back into the Sanyaku next tournament. Here's Iwakaze. He also has double digits. He's up against Myobudani, already with a losing record. It's a 5-2 head-to-head in Iwakaze's favor. A little slow off the mark is Iwakaze, but not such a huge deal. He tends to like to play defensively to begin with. He's in low, head against the chest of Myobudani. Myobudani is trying to get any kind of purchase on the belt, but he doesn't need it. He ends up just slapping Iwakaze down. Iwakaze perhaps a little overeager on shifting weight upward onto his body, into his head. Well, in any event, Myobudani scrapes away a 7th win. So minimum Makekoshi, he'll just move down a spot or two. Iwakaze, meanwhile, with a 10-5 score, should be moving up much closer, so these two will have another showdown in the next Basho. Here's Oginohana. He's done terribly this Basho, already with 11 losses. His opponent, Hagorogawa, is doing much, much better. He already has 9 wins. The head-to-head is 8-7 in Oginohana's favor, fairly close. Good start, a little bit of a head bonking, and Hagorogawa pulls away, leaving Oginohana to stumble forward, so a bit of a dashi nage. A pulling throw. Hagorogawa caps off 10 wins in this tournament. That's his best score in quite a while. Certainly, I think, his first winning record this year. So a good reversal of fortune for Hagorogawa. And he should be moving up to near the top of the Maegashira, maybe even a return to Sanyaku. Here is Hirokawa Shinkomusubi. He'll be moving back down to the Maegashira. He already has a losing record against the other Shinkomusubi, Wakamiyama. Both will be moving back to Maegashira. Both have a losing score. Wakamiyama holds his ground, receives the charge, and then starts to force his way in, but Hirokawa, he's on the attack, he's pushing, he's thrusting, he's moving into the throat, into the chest. Wakamiyama can't seem to really get any pressure applied. A nice upward angle of attack seals the win for Hirokawa. That's 7-8, minimum Makekoshi. He should be within range for promotion to Sanyaku in the next tournament if he puts together a good enough record. Meanwhile, Wakamiyama with 11 losses will fall down quite a ways. He'll need, an equally big, a record equal to how big a loss this is, equal in wins to move back to Komusubi. In any event, Hirokawa picks up a win. Good offense, good attack against this division's heaviest Rikishi. Here's Maedegawa, only 2 wins after 14 days of action. He's done terribly. He's up against Kairyu Yama. Not doing a whole lot better, but he's definitely in a more demanding position overall. Good charge from Maedegawa. He keeps moving forward, and that's an Oshi Taoshi pushing crush out from Maedegawa. So that was really some of the best sumo he's put on this entire basho. If only he could have been doing that, he's probably thinking to himself. But judging by the tape on his right ankle there and knee, I'd say he's probably not feeling 100% in this basho. Not too uncommon for any Rikishi who's been at the top division for any length of time. But nonetheless, Maedegawa, 3rd win. He's ranked very high, so no issue with demotion, but he will be moving down quite a ways. Here's Daigo. He's enjoyed Sekiwake life for several tournaments now, but he'll be moving back down to the Maegashira. But for today, he's got Ozeki Tochihikari. The head-to-head is 11-9 in Tochihikari's favor. And a good charge from Tochihikari gets pushing on the chest. Daigo tries to return fire, but not having a lot of luck here. Tochihikari moves and drops his hips and finishes Daigo Yorikiri, so that looked like a fairly easy one for Tochihikari. Really flexed his muscles, got to show what the difference in strength between an Ozeki and a Sekiwake. And this Ozeki is secure in his rank, certainly. Meanwhile, Daigo will be in Maegashira next basho. So 11 wins. That's a pretty good score for Tochihikari. It's his best in a few tournaments, certainly. Here's Ozeki Sadanoyama. He's already got 10 wins. His opponent, Yutakayama, fellow Ozeki, is looking for that 10th win for double digits, even up their score for this basho. The head-to-head is 9-3, and that is in Yutakayama's favor. So the not exactly an even rivalry between these two. Yutakayama's the heavier, the more physically imposing of the two, certainly. Hard charge from Sadanoyama is inside deep with the right very quickly. Moves on to that shallow left on the belt. He's in a good position. Yutakayama's a bit on the defense here. He's going over the top with that left on the outside. Sotogake, an outside leg trip from Sadanoyama on the left, and that does it. Sotogake victory for Sadanoyama. That's 11 wins. Not quite in tournament contention, certainly, but he's done very well for himself, has this Ozeki. Meanwhile, Yutakayama falls to 9-6. For an Ozeki, not terrible, obviously, but a little disappointing. Double digits is really kind of the standard that you expect from the second highest rank in sumo. When the Yokozuna are away, these men are the very top of the Bansuke, and they should be showing that on a relatively consistent basis, but sumo is sumo. You get what you get on the day. Just a couple more matches until this tournament has come to its conclusion. Here is Kitabayama. If he wins this match against Wakanaruto, he retains a chance for a playoff with Tochinomi should Tochinomi lose his match. So one step at a time here. First, Kitabayama has to win to keep an outside chance. Wakanaruto, he's on 7-7, so he is, if he wins here, he goes up in rank. If not, he goes down. And this is his career peak rank. He comes around to the side, an arm lock on Kitabayama to swing him to the edge. Kitabayama recovers, gets that outside left, and a little tug to the side there sends Wakanaruto down. They can call that an Uwatenage, I think, an overarm throw. And Kitabayama, that's his 12th win. He has done spectacularly this tournament, and should Tochinomi lose, he will be moving to a playoff. But that remains to be seen. That's our next match. Meanwhile, a nice little stack of prize money, some Kenshokin for Kitabayama. Kitabayama looking very sharp this Basho, with an outside chance to earn his second Yusho, or championship. Alright, here it is. It's the Musubi no Ichiban, the final match of the day, on Senshu Daku, the final Sunday of the tournament. Taiho, the indomitable Yokozuna, the winner of the last two championships, against Tochi no Umi, the frontrunner at this stage. Only his second Yokozuna Basho. The head-to-head is 16-5 in Taiho's favor. Head-bonking start. Tochinomi's trying to work his way to the front. He's got the front of the belt. Now he's on the outside right. Tries to put a little leg behind leg there to trip up Taiho, but Taiho recovers. Taiho looks like it's out the inside right. He's moving forward. Tochinomi's in danger, but he recovers. Tochinomi's trying to work his way to a Morozashi double inside. And he's just about there, keeping it relatively shallow with the right. Taiho tries for a grip change, but that undoes him. Tochinomi leans in, plants the leg behind leg, and topples Taiho. That's it. It's over. Tochinomi has won. He's beaten Taiho. He's cleared 13 wins. There will be no playoff. Kitabayama can accept runner-up honors. Taiho falls to his 5th loss. That's 5 more losses than he had in either of the last Basho. A gigantic stack of prize money, certainly a lot bigger than the last one we saw for Tochinomi, who wins his 3rd championship, his first one since November last year, and his first one as a Yokozuna. A big day for Kasugano Stable, a big day for Tochinomi. He's won the highest victory at the highest rank. He's beaten a fairly deadly opponent today. Well, fairly deadly, he's beaten the strongest. And here it is. Now we'll be presenting him with the Emperor's Cup, the top prize in the sumo world. There's all the top oyakata, the chief elders in the Sumo Association, standing on the ring. Tokitsukaze, the Dijicho, the chairman himself, presents the certificate first. Tochinomi will pass that off to some other coach or attendant. And now the Emperor's Cup. Big old trophy there. Tochinomi receives it now for the 3rd time. His first time as Yokozuna. And here is the championship flag. I think I've commented this on previous tournaments, but this the flag is really a carryover from kind of a bygone era where the east and west sides of the Banzuke would compete for winning score, sort of a team competition. The best scoring Dikishi under a certain rank, under the top couple ranks, would be the flag bearer. But now the tournament winner gets both the flag and the cup, so there you go. Now for the special prizes, the Outstanding Performance Prize goes to Sawa Hikari, and this is his first time earning the award. Of course, he gets it for beating the eventual tournament winner, Tochinomi, also Yokozuna. The Fighting Spirit Prize, the Kanto Sho, is awarded to Wakanami for the 2nd time. Put up a lot of wins, put up good fighting spirit, showed overall really good sumo. This is his 2nd Fighting Spirit Prize, and of course, only a year after entering the top division, so pretty good stuff. Kitano Fuji, for the first time, wins the Gino Sho, the Technique Prize, for showing dynamic, technically excellent sumo throughout the tournament. And with that, I think it's safe to assume that Kitano Fuji should be moving into the Sanyaku. Only took a very brief break after his Komosubi debut. We'll hear the top members of Tochinomi's supporters group. The Tanimachi, as it were, the official supporters. They're all going to take a little picture there. Well, they'll be posing, and many, many, many pictures will be taken. Can't hear it, I don't think, in the audio for the official coverage here, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of bonsai, bonsai, bonsai. There they go. Everyone's got their hands in the air. Tochinomi Looks somewhat pleased with himself. I'm sure all of the everything's sort of sinking in still. It's been a very busy day for him. They're all in the changing room now. Everyone's crowded around Tochinomi. Now we get a little look at the Yusho parade. Everyone's leaning out their windows. Everyone's taking a look. A little marching band. There's the car. Tochinomi's sitting in it. Next to him, his stablemates. Tochi Hikari carries the flag. And I'm assuming this is a... Boy, I can't really tell who's in the middle there in the car. I know that Tochinomi's there on the left. He's passing by Deiwanomi's stable. There's Deiwanomi Oyakata pouring out some sake for him to drink out of this big saucer, as is customary. Waving to everybody, a little bit of liquor with some alcohols, maybe loosen him up a bit, feeling a little better. What a day, what a fabulous day for the Deiwanomi Ichimon as well. That's the stable group that Kasugano belongs to. Here's Kasugano's stable. You can see the signboard there in the bottom of the frame. I think that might be Sado no Yama in the car there. Kind of hard. I'm honestly having a hard time telling if that wasn't obvious enough already. Alright, let's see if Tochinomi can kind of wriggle his way through the crowd here to get inside, get some R&R after such a big day. Kasugano stable, that's what the signboard there reads. And look at this stable party. Supporters, Dikishi, a lot of supporters. Clap, 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 clap. They're all very happy for Tochinomi, and why shouldn't they be? There he is at the head of the table. Really, this is quite the career peak for this Dikishi, for Tochinomi. More drink, more sake. Another big gulp. Here we go. This is all part of tradition. I mean, at least for the past several decades. Well, that was an exciting one. Thank you for joining me.